Hey guys, Rise in time. Sorry about the earlier episode, guys. I'm usually never one to try to go off schedule. But as you all know, and as we've discussed before, we have some big things in the works. So I just shot a video in Chicago over the weekend, and I'm looking to get that edited and put up as soon as possible. So for the time being, me and my buddy Lee, who always comes through in the clutch, is going to be here. We got two topics we want to discuss on. It's going to be kind of a short, precise episode, but we want to make sure it's quality and to the point. So obviously, let us know if we fucked up, but we're not going to fuck up because we are champions, and so are you. So let's get to it, Lee. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Okay, we are literally within 4 weeks of the election. Times like these, I get really nervous and I start freaking out, and like the whole world's like, oh, la 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 la, and I'm over here like, fuck, fuck, fuck. It's getting really close to the time where we're actually going to pick the highest position in the land. It's one of the most important times about being an American, and it's honestly one of the most important times about being a citizen of the world because the legislation that comes out of the executive branch of our government actually dictates a lot of policies around the world. So it is a very important thing that everybody should pay attention to. What do you think about that, Lee?
I agree completely because depending on who wins this election, that's going to determine things worldwide, global things. The American economy is obviously linked to every other one. Um, the implications are massive, particularly for one of the two candidates.
Yeah, obviously, and so I mean, we've seen some big things in the news headlines recently. Obviously, it looks like Trump's campaign is falling apart now. I kind of briefly touched on the first debate. You know what I mean? Telling everybody how much it was an ass stomping that Hillary Clinton did to Donald Trump. No contest, but there was people that seen it different. But I don't even fucking understand those people, and but that's okay. But listen, let's get into this second debate, man. Let's talk about this. What do we got on this? What can we bring to the table in this, Lee?
Okay, so I watched the second debate, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I mean, in a lot of ways, it was the same, stuff. I mean, this format was different, but it was a whole lot of Trump, flip flopping on his previous positions. Like, for example, he completely flip flopped on the universal Muslim ban. He downplayed that to the point of just being like, extra vetting on top of the vetting we currently have. So I thought that was just laughable that he would just completely downplay his one of his major selling points, which is kind of disgusting, but was this Muslim ban that appealed to every, ignorant Islamophobe in the country.
Okay, well, here's an issue that I see with this 100% is the lack of Americans who are actually paying attention to the true facts. Because the more Americans don't actually truly pay attention to the real facts of these matters, the more they are likely to be led astray by ignorant zealots such as Donald Trump. I just recently read this week a Southern Poverty Law Center article simply describing and saying these audacious things such as like 70% of Americans believe that crime is on the rise when that's the complete opposite fact. Violent crime is falling. So if we have a whole bunch of citizens in the United States that are uneducated and don't look at the facts and they think that crime is going up, then they are less likely to elect politicians who want to reduce prison population, try to put good judges up there that are going to be not as harsh and trying to put like drug offenders behind bars. And then, we go along the things this ties into this whole entire Muslim ban thing where we see like, for some reason, Trump's constituents truly believe that people just come and go as they please. And that is not the case. We have one of the most stringent vetting processes in the whole entire world. Would you not agree to that?
I definitely do. It is definitely in the Western world one of the most thorough and most demanding vetting processes there is. It's selective, and it's not this non-existent process where you just decide you want to come to the U.S. and you get in. This is not what it is. So for, the Trump campaign to constantly talk like it is like some non-existent process that anybody can beat is just stupid, really. It's fantasy. It's just not true.
Okay, we've already discussed this before, and I've already known about this since the whole entire Trump campaign has been going on. I have called this out from day one. His campaign has been run by fear tactics alone. And it's creating this whole kind of like thing and like aura within his campaign of like, America's in the worst shape it's ever been in life. Fucking, we're going to get murdered at any single second. Immigrants are the enemies. We need to fucking pull our ball sacks out of our assholes and fucking fight for something. Like, I just don't even get it. Like, do we have issues? Absolutely. But can we use just common sense and look at facts and try to like figure out issues? Like, that's what I just don't understand from this campaign. He plays on ignorant people's fears, and like, I'm not even mad at the ignorant people, because I mean, shit, majority of these people, they're just trying to live their lives, pay their taxes, raise their kids right. So I mean, there's no issues with me there, but it's just like, you have to watch out for people like this, because he just came in off the scene and he figured out he had a niche. He had a niche with these people because he realized that there was a lot of frustration. So instead of being a good candidate and realizing that there is a vast amount of frustration within the American public, and seeing and figuring these issues out using common sense, logic, and rationality, what he chose to do is what an ignorant coward despot would do, and play on people's fears and imaginary monsters in their closet. And that is fucking audacious, that's immoral, and that's unethical. And on that fact alone, like, he might even be right about, say he's right about 80% of the issues. On the mere fact alone, on his immoral and unethical stance on how he plays people's minds, that would make me not want to vote for him. So that's all I'll say about that.
I agree. I mean, just his entire campaign is just like constant non-issues being, exaggerated to the point of, I mean, it's these massively exaggerated things like the vetting process, Mexican immigration, which is we're actually bleeding Mexicans for whatever reason, according to Pew Research, which is literally considered by many to be the most reliable, nonpartisan group you possibly even find on the internet. So, yeah, I don't know. I agree.
All right, Lee, let's go into some of these statements that he made. Let's figure out if he's just telling the truth or he's telling a lie. Maybe we're wrong, Lee. Let's concede, because we always do. We're smart people. We're intellectuals. Let's concede that we're wrong and see if we're wrong.
So, you want to play devil's advocate with several things he said, or
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be difficult, but the Mexican immigration is just completely, there's no way to look at it from their perspective, I don't think, based on the actual facts. I mean, you might be able to find some statistics that demonstrate, I mean, as far as I know, there's no real validity to Mexicans being like more likely to rape people than other, ethnic groups. That's just complete fear mongering of the highest order. I mean, even illegal Mexicans literally, these are just people crossing the border to achieve jobs that we wouldn't even do under any circumstances for pay that is just a fraction of what we expect. And not only that, but they're a huge part of the economy around the U.S. Like, there was that Vice documentary where they passed a lot of, Alabama passed a lot of anti-immigrant laws, anti-legal laws, and the GDP of the state dropped considerably. So there's no truth to the Mexican stuff, but there is a degree of truth maybe to the fact that some Muslim populations, like from Syria, are more likely to blow themselves up than I don't know, maybe, like people from Shanghai, I guess, or, Chinese immigrants, Japanese immigrants. There's some truth to that, but I mean, if nobody's going to take in Syrian refugees, then what are we going to do with them? You can't seriously tell me that they got to stay inside Syria, like, which is literally bombed to the point of some cities being uninhabitable. Diseases are breaking out. I mean,
well, let's take a quote from him from last night. Trump said this last night. People are coming into our country like we have no idea who they are, where they are from, and what their feelings about our country is. And she wants 550% more, which doesn't even make any fucking sense. 550% more? What the fuck does that even mean? Okay, so let's not even fucking go into that because he's a fucking idiot. But I mean, is it true that Clinton has urged an increase? Yes, it is. She has called for having taking a lead in a world where, it's good to be moral and it's good to help other people out. And yes, she has asked for refugees to come in here and ask for us to accept people, because it's a huge burden on the world to have one country or two countries accept all these dying and depraved and not depraved, dying and hurt people. I mean, it should be something like a Christian nation that the right try to say that we are. You think they would be at the forefront of this argument and saying, yes, give us your tired, give us your hungry, give us your weak, blah, blah, blah. But no, you don't hear that. You don't hear that at all. So Trump's suggestion that we have no idea of who they are and where they are from it's not accurate at all. And we were just talking about that. The refugees are vetted. They're vetted, number one, through the United Nations, and then they are referred to the United States, where they undergo 1 to 2 years worth of security clearances involving many federal intelligence agencies. So, I mean, like, stuff like that, it's just like, where... He just said that.
Well, he does that constantly is a thing. There's countless quotes from, his entire career, even prior to him being anywhere near politics. I mean, this is a guy that came up with the birther shit, so... I mean, there is no threshold for the shit he'll spew. I mean, this guy has literally said that China made up climate change for whatever stupid ass reason he just, vomited on his Twitter. Regurgitated, I guess would be the better word for that. But yeah, like we'll limit it to the shit he said in the debates. One quote by him is healthcare is going up by numbers that are astronomical: 68%, 59%, 71%. So healthcare, this might be one of the only quotes this guy said that has any degree of truth. And according to this NPR article, I'll read it so you'll get an idea, and the audience will. Health insurance premiums for families rose an average 3% last year, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. Premiums have risen 20% from 2011 to 2016, according to the Kaiser report. However, costs to families have increased even more because families are facing higher deductibles and co-payments. In the past 5 years, the average cost of health care to families before their insurance kicks in has risen 67%. So that's in the realm of reason. I mean, his idea for solving it is just kind of like completely vague. Just there's no real explanation as to what he has in mind to fix this issue. But he was only 1% off. So yeah, that's one thing that he said with a degree of truth to it, even if he didn't say how he's going to fix it. However, he also said last year we had an almost $800 billion trade deficit, but 2015 was a $531 billion trade deficit. So, I mean, he just made that number up. I mean, it's like over a quarter more than what it actually was. But yeah, whatever. Okay, moving along.
So let's go into another one of his audacious statements. Let me touch on one. You'll grab another one. We'll just keep going back and forth for just a couple more minutes, Lee. Um, this is how the man talks, and this is just it's insane because it has no substance to it whatsoever. He said, "quote Our taxes are so high, just about the highest in the world." Unquote. Okay, so let's go into that. Number one, PolitiFact just rated that mostly false. Now, does the United States have one of the highest corporate tax rates in the world? Absolutely. But in terms of taxes overall, he's literally saying that like we're competing with Northern European socialist countries on our taxes, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially someone well versed in European history and European knowledge right now, Lee. I mean, he just says all like these broad things, and he's trying to like incorporate it, and like he's baiting, he's like reaching for like middle class people to be pissed off. But at the end of the day, all he's really saying right there is like, yeah, the corporate tax rate is too high, we gotta drop that shit. That's ridiculous. There's so many tax havens. There's so much money in offshore accounts that the American people are not even seeing. They're not being invested into our country. Jobs are not coming to our country because these greedy bastards. And he's just going to say such an audacious statement as that. That really ticks me off.
Yeah, me too. Like, there's no the vast majority of things he says. There's no degree of truth. There's not even like a crumb of truth to the statement that the U.S. is the highest tax rates. I mean, Sweden, for example, people are taxed at around 50%. Similar situation in Norway. I mean, even beyond the four, Scandinavian countries. Well, Finland is loosely considered Scandinavian. I don't think really qualifies, but it has a similar setup going on in terms of tax rate. But I mean, throughout Europe, throughout the Western world, you have higher tax rates. So God, I mean, no, there's no truth to that whatsoever. I don't know what to say. Like, the corporate tax rate is quite high here. But yeah, no. You can't just lump all the taxes together and say, yeah, they're the highest. Because that's not how taxes work. That's stupid. That's just dumb shit.
Okay, hey, I'm just gonna steal this one from you, man, because I mean, I'm fucking dying inside here. Trump said, "quote We are old, we are tired, we're exhausted in terms of nuclear, a very bad thing." Unquote. Number one, what the fuck is he addressing? What is he saying? What? We can't even. There's so much comedy invested into this man. I just really hope a lot of comedians get rich off this shit because I'm fucking dying inside. And so PolitiFact rated that a false. I don't even know. And he said on the basis of the fact that our nuclear arsenal doesn't work. What the fuck does that mean? They have equipment that is 30 years old. Okay, I don't know. I don't think that's correct. It's been and the United States, but here's the fact about it, which is crazy. The United States, this quote from PolitiFact, the United States has been spending $35 billion a year to upgrade its nuclear stockpile. The officials tasked with certifying the safety and reliability of the current arsenal have consistently given their seal of approval. 35 billion buckaroos, motherfuckers. And this motherfucker is saying that our nuclear arsenal doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, then somebody needs to answer, and I mean right fucking now. Holy shit.
I'm gonna attempt to chip in. I don't really have. I mean, that sort of stupidity and counterfactualness. It really should have, ended his campaign before he even got the nomination. But that aside, okay. First of all, the whole idea is to remove, cut back, and ultimately destroy nuclear stockpile. That was the idea, early in Obama's administration to Russia and the U.S. to coordinate and slowly and gradually, remove all the nuclear weapons. Because quite frankly, if a war escalates to the point of nuclear weapons, millions are going to die, and potentially more. I mean, but obviously between the U.S. and Russia, that would literally, like, that would be insane. That would just be utterly ridiculous, and the fallout would obviously contaminate and kill people in other places. So nuclear weapons aren't really a good thing. I don't think we really need many of them, quite frankly. And we do maintain them. Obviously, we maintain them. You don't have a nuclear stockpile and not maintain it. That's some dumb shit right there. Yes, the U.S. maintains its nuclear stockpile. There's no truth to that. I mean, there has been some oversight, or there's been mistakes pertaining to the nuclear stockpile, and there might be facilities that are under protected and under maintained, but in general, for the most part, that's not true at all. That's incredibly broad statement. No truth to it.
All right, Lee, go ahead and grab one of these quotes, man, and just make me laugh for the rest of the night, please, because this is crazy. We got to move on.
Okay. This one might work in Trump's favor. I'm trying to not just pick his worst quotes.
Okay, my bad. I'm doing the next episode.
It's hard though, because you scroll down this debate and you just see like throughout the debate, just countless times he said women respected him. And I mean, that might be true for like a few women. However, countless women on the national stage have clearly not had much respect for Trump for obvious reasons. I mean, hopefully no women at all have respect for him after that leaked tape, but that's beside the point. Just all right. Okay, so in the debate, he said other nations are taking our jobs and taking our wealth. And NPR. Well, okay. Let me read what Clinton said too. Well, like everyone else, spent a lot of time thinking over the last 48 hours about what we heard and saw. With prior, Okay, that was just basically her, just, yeah, that, okay, actually, I don't think what Trump said had anything to do with, yeah, no, that had nothing to do with the actual question asked. So, Jesus, I forgot this little detail, but, yeah, he just threw that out there, so I can't even debunk that because that was irrelevant to the question. Moving right along. Okay, obviously there's a ton of talk about the tape. And I want to limit the talk about the tape because of the fact that pretty much anybody who's listening to it has their own opinion on that, which is hopefully not very good. So, okay, at one point Trump says, okay, so he starts talking about Bill Clinton a lot. He's doing that a lot, obviously. Okay, so Trump says, well, you owe the president an apology because, as you know very well, your campaign, Sidney Blumenthal, he's another real winner that you have, and he's the one that got this started along with your campaign manager, and they were on television just 2 weeks ago. He was saying exactly that. And that was in reply. Okay, well, anyways, I'll just fact check that. We have fact checked Trump's birther claims. Oh God, this is him going off topic again. I'm finding these excerpts from the debate, but they're all so far off topic that when.
So you're going through the transcripts right now, right?
Right, yeah, and I'm finding his quotes, but I mean, the thing is, they have nothing to do with the questions. So when I actually read NPR's fact check. But yeah, so let's just touch on the fact that Trump has basically denied the extent of his birther campaign. Okay, so according to NPR, we have fact-checked Trump's birther claims previously several times online on air. At the event in which Trump finally admitted that Obama was born in the U.S., he shifted the blame to Clinton's campaign. We noted that Trump was trying to strike a false equivalence that does not compare to what he did. As we noted, there's a big difference between what fringe supporters of Clinton said at the time, who were disavowed by the candidate, and the campaign Trump himself undertook in the subsequent years. So basically, what it's saying is Trump's whole persona for years was kind of colored in terms of his politics by his birther conspiracy theory, allowing Obama to even be the president. And yet he's come and said that, he made up the date it started, which was well after, it actually started. And he downplayed it to such an extent. And NPR has done a lot fact checking on that, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what, guys? Let's all give Lee a round of applause, man. I mean, the mere fact that he's even trying to read a transcript that involves Donald Trump's thought process is something that I would rather kill myself and fucking eat dead mice. I just came up with that on the top of my head, but I would never want to do that. And you're trying to do it, and shit. I mean, look at it. It's a fucking travesty.
I gave it a shot. I gotta.
No, you did. You did fantastic, and it's just it's something that people like you need to try to do, because I don't even want to even try. It's something that I don't even want to do.
It's so difficult because I mean, I find these quotes by him, and I just pick one, but they have nothing to do with the actual question asked, and I guess I should start there. And it's just not an effective way to do it because of the nature of Trump's replies. They typically just completely skirt around or completely irrelevant to the actual question. Gosh, shit.
Yeah, the concepts, I mean, the mere man is just, he's a fucking person that psychologists need to study for the next fucking a million years to try to figure out how we can curb and make sure that people don't grow up to be like him.
Yeah, I agree. It's like shit, I can't remember her name, but she was on Bill Maher saying that his activities are, I mean, his actions, his mannerisms are nearly identical to people who are utterly sleep deprived. Like, we're talking 5 hours of sleep sort of people a night. And I can see it because, I mean, you can look at, his tweets, and he's up the wee hours of the morning, posting garbage to the effect that climate change is a hoax by the Chinese. That's an actual tweet by him. That's something he actually said. I'm not making that up.
You can't anything, man. It's just, I wouldn't even doubt it. You know what I mean? It's just, he just does these things, and it's cool, but it's not cool. And fuck, man. Well, okay, guys. We actually did want to touch on another topic, but unfortunately, in order to do it justice, like me and Lee always want to do these things justice, we're not going to really try to have that much time. So we'll touch on that in a later episode. Did we even say what we were going to talk about, Lee? I don't even remember. The Trump thing just threw me off base.
Oh, man.
Did we mention what we were going to say? If we didn't, let's not even say it. Let's let him live in suspense.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, but we might have said it, and if we did, we're idiots, but we're not. So hopefully we didn't hint at it. But yeah, guys, I mean, make the decision for yourself. Like I've told you guys in past episodes, man, like, it's not my job, and it's not this podcast way to push you towards Hillary Clinton or to push you in a certain direction. But, man, I'm going to call out stupidity every single time. Every single time, every single place, I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to dissect it, and I'm going to make fun of it, and I'm going to rip it a new asshole. I don't care what side of the aisle it comes from. This level of debauchery in American politics is the reason why our country, is looking like a fucking fool in the global standards. So the more that we laugh these people out of office, the more that we shame this type of individual styles of representing a country or whatever the hell he's trying to do, the better off we'll be. I mean, I promise you, I think we're doing a good service here, and I know Lee would agree to that. So yeah, man. Do you got any final thoughts, Lee?
One thing I would like to point out is at some point in the debate he says something to the effect of Hillary should be in jail. I mean he's said that on numerous occasions, but the FBI director said no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case against Hillary Clinton over her email messages. So I just wanted to leave it at that. This email scandal is bad, but if no prosecutor would actually, put her in jail because of it, then to say constantly that she should be in jail, that's just fantasy. Okay.
Yeah. No, actually, I love that final thought, man, because I mean, the prosecution is out there. I know there's prosecutors that would be up to the task if there was something to be done. You know what I mean? I mean, I guarantee people are gunning for the attorney general spot, and what better way to get the attorney general if you're going to take down a president-elect? You know what I mean? I don't care how much power you think this woman has, Hillary Clinton or whatever, man. No, if it was bound to happen, if there was something there, this whole notion has been beaten into the ground all for the past 2 years. That's all we've been hearing. That's all is emails. Just rename Hillary Clinton email. Let's just call her email from now on, because I mean it's just that's all that it ever is, man. That's all that it fucking ever is. Does she have like, she is not a Bernie Sanders to me. She's not as progressive. There's many things that I could pick apart on her too, man. But you know what? I'm not going to take the easy route and just be like, oh, well, the email, it should just disqualify her and she's a terrible individual. No. Let's grow up here. Let's understand something. You know what I mean?
I agree completely. That summed it up.
All right. Well, we're going to leave you guys. Sorry about the crazy episode, but, we're doing this thing and we're having fun doing it. So hope you guys enjoy. And we'll see you next time. Good night, ladies and gentle people.